connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
What's going on, everybody? Man, Eric Wilson. Like I said, back-to-back nights here on the Sports Arena on our normal night, Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you check us out. Huge shout-out to the Sideline Sports Network family, DBNA TV, Connect to Your City, Manscaped, Score No Score, Trazer, and I got to do a special shout-out to the National Scouting Combine coming up February 28th through March 5th at the Grand Parks Event Center in Indianapolis, Indiana. Your boy's going to be out there. It's an annual event for me, and each year I get to talk to some uncut gems, if you will, some undiscovered talent who just may get their shot at the NFL or maybe even the XFL. They might be get a shot at the CFL or the American Indoor Football Alliance. Yeah, I'm just plugging everybody tonight here. But let me go ahead and get the crew in here. So 2 members who were with me last night, definitely want to get them in here. First off, as always, our queen of hoop, Miss Megan Price, John Shear, Fox Sports 1340 AM. And my man, the big guard, is back. We ain't seen him in a minute, but he does his show every Tuesday nights on 8:30, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. The big guard is back in the building, but he's got a disturbing look on his face. So I have to admit I'm a little nervous for what the first thing he will come out his mouth with tonight. But before we get to him, Queen, John, what's going on? Good to see y'all again 24 hours after the fact.
Nice to see you again as well.
Appreciate it. So Big Guard, you back. What's going on, brother? You've been gone for a minute, but you back again. Okay.
So it's good to be back. A lot has happened since I've been gone, as you can see. So I guess I'll start and I'll go in order, right? I wasn't here last night for various reasons, but I wasn't here last night. Now, I did hear some things that do concern me.
Okay.
Right? Now, that snippet, that just took me to a whole nother level, but we'll talk about that later. But I want to talk about the halftime show. I know y'all talked about it yesterday,
sure.
Right?
No, go right ahead, please.
I do want to talk about the halftime show. Trying to think.
Don't say anything bad about Prince.
No, I'm not. I mean, I honestly, I'm not a Prince person. So the Prince, I mean, the pink tights with the butt cheeks out, that's not my thing. But I mean, I'm just saying. I will say this. Sunday was epic as far as the halftime performance goes for a lot of reasons, right? I mean, people can disagree with me. They can agree with me. I don't really care, honestly, at this point. But I would say this. Hip-hop is ignored so much by mainstream media. Sunday, and people can say what they want to say, but Sunday was the first time, in my opinion, that it was put on the grand stage, the grandest of all stages, to be in the Super Bowl. Occasionally during Super Bowl, the hip hop community, we might get the closest you might get is Bruno Mars, right? Or we might get a snippet of Jay-Z with Beyonce. But I mean, we got probably the greatest hip hop producer of all time, arguably in Dr. Dre. On the other person, I think that you probably could. On the other two people, you probably could even argue with is probably Timbaland or Swizz Beatz. We got one of the most iconic rappers, hip hop rappers of all time, which is Eminem. We got 50 Cent, which is of his generation of the 2000s, the 2000 era, one of the probably top 5 rapper. Snoop Dogg is a legend. Mary J. Blige is a top 5, top 10 R&B artist of all time. And then Kendrick, who is probably everybody's favorite, one of everybody's favorite right now. So I think it was amazing. I think it was amazing for hip hop because, like I said, hip hop and that culture has been ignored on the grand stage of all time, in my opinion. I mean, we see it at the NBA All-Star, but in the NFL, we have never really seen it. And I think this is one of the things we expected for Jay-Z to bring to the table once he got the position he got. And then I will say this, even to see with the Snoop Dogg, to see him to see Snoop Dogg in a whole blue bandana outfit on national TV. That's just, to me, that it's just a big thing for the community. Like I say, hip hop is just, it's just one of those things. It's like a way of life. And in order for you to truly understand it, I think you have to somewhat be living that way of life. That's just like if they had, I don't know, I don't really know any big mainstream. Let's say if they had Bon Jovi, right? I'm just giving an example. Let's say if they had Bon Jovi or if they had Aerosmith or something like that, right? I think they had Aerosmith before, right? If they had Aerosmith or Bon Jovi or something, I mean, that's not for me. It's not for me. No disrespect. I don't have an issue with Bon Jovi. I couldn't. You put a gun up to my head right now and said name 5 of their songs, I couldn't name them. So, I mean, hey, it was amazing for me, and we can talk about the other things later. Go ahead, Eric. My fault.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We definitely want to make sure that we get your thought and opinion on this stuff. So I want to say welcome back. It is good to see you. And a quick shout out to one of your co-hosts on Say What, Say It Again. It is Avery Gray's birthday today. So shout out to him. Happy birthday, Avery. Still got to say, one of the best segments I think ever that I've ever been a part of and I've ever seen is Career Over. And that needs to be made into a montage of all of he needs to have his greatest hits of Career Over. And you could throw mine in there if you want to. You could throw my Career Over in there.
Yours would definitely be in there. Okay. I mean, yours, let's see, who else was it? I can't remember them all, but
wait, the one that he did for Ty Benders, that one still to this day is classic.
Brooklyn.
How about Brooklyn?
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but Mike, good evening, my brother. What's going on? Love the Johnny Cash shirt, man. What's up?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, sorry. I was actually trying to get online like 5 minutes before my computer froze. I couldn't even do anything, and then all of a sudden, I just tapped the button and it just went down and came back up. So the spirits are here.
Yeah, they working for you. They weren't working for you to be on time, but at least they were working for you. It's okay. It's all right. So let's keep the conversation going from last night because there was a lot of talk with regard to the NBA and free agency and what trade deadline, and what has transpired. And we ended the conversation, Mike, talking about your, Forks Up, your man, James Harden. John says that he is a cancer, which I don't agree with.
The Nets need chemotherapy after that.
And so I want to keep that going because, I've had 24 hours to digest everything. And John, I still don't agree with you because for everything that Ray Lynn brought to the table last night, it seemed as though you really didn't have an answer to say in the postseason, James Harden was he was more of a liability than an asset.
Yeah. He doesn't know how to play defense.
That's 85% of the NBA, John.
It's the NBA. What big name players play defense?
There's five players a generation, John, and you can seriously starting from I even say the mid 90s, right? But you can start from the mid 90s, and Eric and I have talked about this before. There's not 5. There's There's 3 to 4 in a generation that will always make all first defensive team because those are the only 3 to 4 that actually play that end of the court. And there's 1 or 2 that make it on for a year.
I'm not talking about all team. I'm not talking about.
Well, that's what I'm
team.
saying.
I'm just talking about,
But that's my point. The NBA doesn't play defense.
Stops.
It's all about help side defense. It's all about sagging back. That's why they legalized zones again, even though NBA teams are smart enough not to play zone because with all these wings, all they have to do is swing it to the other side of the court and you're going to bury a 3. But there's 3 to 5 guys who try to play defense. The rest of them are there to score. And if they get a stop or two, here or there, like Trevor Ariza, why was Trevor Ariza loved in those Houston James Harden teams? Because he played defense. So, look, I'm not going to disagree with you that James Harden, and even in the bubble when they were in the broadcast, they're like, oh, look at this, James Harden playing defense. Like, he got those, 4 stops back to back to back to back. That's my point. So you can pick on Harden, but you can pick on 85% of the NBA, though. You can pick on 85% of the NBA, and then Ray Lynn busted out his numbers last night in the playoffs. So, yeah, there were a few games, obviously, against the Spurs without Kawhi that are well noted, but that's the point. Like, nobody's playing defense except for guys like Kawhi, guys like Draymond Green, who the Warriors struggles. We're talking about you get Draymond Green back, and obviously that anchors that defense. We'll see what happens. But, look, to get back to James Harden, side note there, Eric, sorry, but for Philly, look, it's a great thing. After the All-Star break, I mean, look, we're seeing what Embiid is doing. I mean, this is probably my most favorite big man year since Hakeem Olajuwon. You know how I feel about Hakeem. Like, that he was the freaking greatest to me. That being said, like, what Joel Embiid is doing makes, like, Shaq and Charles Barkley look right from 3 years ago when you and I even texted about this. They said he could be the first person in NBA history to average 30 and 20 a night. Joel Embiid is proving he could do that. I mean, yes, to do it for 82 games would take a lot. There's a few nights he'd probably take off, but inevitably still 30 and 20 a night. You put Harden in there. We saw he could play point guard last year, John. It doesn't matter about playing.
Big deal. You got those two. What else do you have?
What else do we have?
John, have you seen Tobias Harris?
Tobias
Harris. Maxey.
Watch out. That's your third.
Maxey has been playing good. Maxey's averaging like 18 a game or something like that.
Those are guys I don't worry about in the playoffs. You got
those are guys. Okay, so you know what, Mike? So you know what, John?
It's Maxey's second season.
That's okay, Megan. That's okay. I got this one. Thank you. I'm gonna come to you, Queen. Hold your thought, John. I'm glad that you brought that up because here's the one thing I do want to say to you. I want you to remember you saying that these gentlemen who are you saying are not guys that you should worry about. Remember that should we play the Heat in the playoffs and those guys are dominating your team, because I want you to remember those names, because you know what? What about the Chris Middletons?
I have to actually
hold on. This ain't your time yet. This ain't your time. Hold on. What I'm saying to you is this. You have to look at the total dynamic. And it is about the chemistry. It is about bringing these people together in order to achieve a simple goal, and that is win a championship. Ben Simmons was not a part of the equation, okay? He might have been a couple years ago. He was not this year. So you replace him with a guy who's averaging 22, 9, and 7. So this is what I'm saying to you. If you know going in that your big man, one of the purest big men in the game today, and Joel Embiid is the guy who's going to get his. We already know that. Throw that out the equation. You know, on any given night, let's say James Harden, even at the weight that he's currently at, if James Harden was to lose 10 pounds, he's going to pull off 40. We've seen him do it. Hold on, I'm not finished. Let me get it out, then you can finish. But then we have the supporting cast. We have the supporting cast in order to continually handle our business and run and make a deep run. That is why I'm saying Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not saying NBA Finals. The Milwaukees of the world are still out there. The Chicagos could come and surprise a lot of people. Your Miami Heat could do it, all right? But what I'm saying to you is you want to sleep on Philly because you take Joel Embiid and you take James Harden, you say the two of them, okay, we got the two of them. We got to figure out the rest. Or I'm sorry, in your words, I'm not worried about the rest. John, keep sleeping on those guys.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Hold on. I got to give John his time because he let me get mine in. Let me get John his time, and then we'll go to you, and then I want to go to Megan.
What did Mike say about Ben Simmons? He can guard all 5 spots. Okay, right? You said he can basically guard everything.
He can't score.
No, but you said he can guard everything.
Sure.
So you go from Ben Simmons in the playoffs last year, who can't score, but he can play defense, which you did mention that you need a guy like Draymond Green, right? You need a guy like that can play defense. All right, so you go from
you're twisting
from Ben Simmons' defense to James Harden's defense, and all you could throw is offensive numbers because you got to make a stop. And you go from Ben Simmons' defense to James Harden's defense, and you lose Curry, who I thought was a nice piece on your team, and that is what you're selling me on.
No, you asked about. He said he doesn't play defense. My point to you in making that long-winded was there's only 3 to 4 guys in a generation that actually play defense that matter. Nobody in the NBA plays defense. They try to shut people down when they want to, but it's all about help side defense.
But you just didn't tell me about Ben Simmons can cover basically
last
every
night
position.
He could guard all 5, but people can still score on him. It's not like he doesn't give up any points. You're still going to score on him.
Right, but I'm just saying
you were talking about defensive effort. You talked about defensive effort. I said too. There's 3 to 5 guys in a generation that play defense, and that's why if you go back and look, who made the All-NBA defensive team? I mean,
didn't Simmons make it last year? No. Wasn't he one of the best defenders in basketball last year?
Sure.
Should have been defensive player of the year. Should have been defensive player
exactly.
of the year. Absolutely. You're
I know
right
he's
about
not playing
that.
this year, but if you look at the playoff Sixers last year,
well, but everything
playoff Sixers this year,
everybody ripped Rudy Gobert about last year too, and I was part of it, and I know you did too. Rudy Gobert can play defense. Rudy Gobert, can put up 15 to 20 if they feed him the ball, but for the most part, you're taking one player away that's not scoring, but you're putting a player back there. Everybody knows they're not going to the rim on. I mean, maybe a guy like Embiid with that size will go to the rim on him, but nobody's going to the rim on Gobert. So I get your point, but you just said about defense in the playoffs. Is it important? Sure. Why do you think guys like Kobe stepped up at certain times? You look at when Eric's third best friend Michael Jordan actually started playing defense too. Eric knows he made the All-NBA defensive team every year with Patrick Ewing or Hakeem Olajuwon or Michael Cooper, because Michael Cooper in that Showtime Lakers went from the 80s to the 90s. Michael Cooper was one of the only ones playing defense.
All right, let me get Tyre's got a question. Let me get Tyre in here.
So I just need a yes or no answer. The NBA is about star power.
Yes.
It's about star power, right? 2 of the 5 best players on the Eastern Conference are on the same team. James Harden and Joel Embiid. The only person I could put with them is obviously the reigning defending, as Paul Heyman would say, Giannis Antetokounmpo, right?
Yeah.
And KD. I can't say anybody else is better than the 4 of those guys. I love Kyrie. Maybe when he shows up consistently, we could put him with those guys. I like Trae Young. I love Jimmy Butler. I'm probably a bigger Jimmy Butler fan on this panel than anybody.
What about Jason Tatum?
Tatum, Tatum's not consistent. I love Jimmy. Jimmy just can't score like those guys. He can score, but those guys on a different level. But Jimmy makes up for it in basketball IQ, effort, and other areas.
Like he's like a tier lower, right?
Yeah, yes. But those guys, like if James Harden is healthy, which I'm not 100% sure if he is or not. If James Harden is healthy, and I've been saying it for years about Embiid, that team with Embiid, Simmons, and Butler wasn't supposed to lose to Toronto. You know, like we gotta keep that 100. They wasn't supposed to lose to them.
Amen.
So I mean, but my thing is this: you got two of the top 5 players in the East. Even if you say James Harden is 5, that's cool. You still have Tobias Harris. You still have Maxey, like she said. Yes, Thibault, like Will Vogel said. And I want to put one more thing out to you, like I told the guys at my job. Buyout market is around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
You see Tyreke Evans it is clear to come back to the NBA. I mean, we don't know what he's going to be like because he ain't played in 2 years, right? But you'll have veteran guys that'll get bought out. All Philly really need is probably another shooter. I get I get some of what John is saying. Yes, they did lose Seth Curry, and Seth Curry was playing amazing for them as far as his shooting goes. But you could find another shooter. I mean, as far as the defense go, even if I have Harden at the 1, Maxey, Tobias Harris, Thibault, and daggone Embiid, for one of those 5 guys going to play defense. Embiid, we can say we want to say about Embiid, he's going to protect the rim. Thibault is known for his defense. Maxey's going to defense.
What if they throw Dragic on there?
hold on. I got to get Megan in here because she's been patiently waiting. So Megan, please give me, talk to me.
I really feel like James Harden is in the right place, and I don't think he's healthy personally. This is that same hamstring, correct? That's been giving him grief since the end of last season. James Harden, no matter what team he was on, was notoriously healthy for the entirety of his career. So for him to be out the amount of time and struggle with this injury that he has, I'm inclined to believe that he is injured, and he keeps struggling with it, and he keeps re-injuring it and has problems with it. But I feel like this is a place in Philadelphia where he will do well. I think Doc Rivers is the right coach for him, hopefully. There are some questions about some of his play in the playoffs. Completely understand and get it, John. But there's also times when his teammates, his supporting cast, the other starters weren't there. Only reason that they lost that series against Golden State is because Chris Paul was injured. Literally the only reason. Well, no, excuse me. No, the reason is why is because D'Antoni didn't go in his bench not once after Chris Paul got injured.
You have a D'Antoni bias, right?
Okay, but am I wrong? Am I wrong though? Is that statement incorrect?
25
he did not go.
I mean, but John, they was up 3-1 when he got hurt.
Okay,
shouldn't James Harden step up? Shouldn't that be the time where your star steps up?
He did step up whenever he's putting up 30 plus. What else can he do? Literally, what else can he do?
But John, did you watch that series? Chris Paul looked like the best player on the in this at one point in time. You can say what you want to say. Chris Paul looked like the best player on both teams. And we're talking about when KD was there. He looked like the best player on both teams at one point.
He did.
And Eric,
and he got hurt.
Eric, I'm going to make you happy because Philly won me over last night. Even though we were picking on you about the score, I did not realize this on their roster, and I feel like a slacker. Anybody that has a player on their team named Charlie Brown Jr. It makes me think of the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. You win, baby. You want he there, Charlie Brown Jr. He's going to be your X factor.
I appreciate
that.
The
problem with that game, though, the problem with that game was that Marcus Smart got injured. Now, it wasn't as bad as it looked. It looked like he could have broken it from the amount of pain he was in, but it turns out it's a sprain. So, hopefully it won't be a long-term injury for him, but it did look really painful. And then tonight they ended up losing to the Pistons.
Listen, this is an ebb and flow process, y'all.
Not y'all. Not the Celtics lost.
Oh, the Celtics. Oh, yeah. Good. They deserve to lose. Anyhow, we gonna take a break. Y'all put up 50 on us last night. I mean, I looked at that. I looked at the box score, and just to see the impact that whole entire team, even the bench, had last night, I was like, you know what? It's gonna happen.
But Eric, I will say this now. The only thing I do question,
sir.
The only thing that can change my mind is, how did y'all not get the deadline to pick up that dude's option?
Okay.
If he walks next year, if he walks this summer,
I want to ask when we come back. I want to ask Ty this question that nobody seems to have an answer for. I really want to ask him this.
All right, we'll ask. You can ask Ty that question when we come back. More with the crew in just a moment. Welcome back into the Sports Arena. The entire crew here is with me. I got Megan, John, Mike, and Ty Ray. Shout out to my man Ray Lynn. He's going to be back with us next week. But John, before we went to break, you said you had a question for the big guard, aka Mr. Ty Ray, aka the host of Say What, Say It Again every Tuesday night, 8:30. Make sure you check this brother out, the whole entire crew. And again, shout out to the one, Mr. Avery Graves, because his career is definitely not over. So, John, I'm gonna give you and Ty the screen.
He keep running his lips. It's gonna be over.
I know, but I'm gonna let y'all have this conversation. So,
all right,
go ahead, sir.
All right. So all these fools, I asked them the same question, and they just seem to be in James Harden land. The Sixers had to have lost this trade, right? I mean, because all the King's ransom that they were getting last year, the offseason, even earlier on this season, they were getting a haul for Ben Simmons, a haul. And then they have to trade picks and Ben Simmons and Curry away just to get James Harden, who you don't know if you're going to get to keep him in the future. You traded all that for James Harden when you could have set yourself up for the future by trading away Simmons and gotten so much back, but that wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough. And then you settled, which I know what James Harden is, but to me, you settled because you traded away picks instead of gaining assets, because you always got to think about the future. I mean, you can't just think about right here, right now. You're not the Rams. Like the Sixers aren't the Rams. They're not built like that. You know what I mean? So, like, I think that they lost because of what they could have got last year or the offseason or whatever for Simmons, but everybody was offering him so much. And then they just turned it down. And then I feel like they settled by trading away all this stuff for Harden. But I'm crazy.
So my thing is this. I can never say someone settled when they bought in the top 5 player in the NBA when healthy. I can't say that. And another thing I also can't say is this. Ben Simmons wasn't playing and wasn't going to play. Like he just made up in his mind. He must got some money in the bank. He just made up in his mind that he wasn't going to play.
Right, and they could have got a ransom for him, right?
Okay, and I got you. Now look at the climate. Look at the climate of the East. Another thing you do too is you take, in my opinion, whenever Brooklyn got healthy, Brooklyn was the best team in the NBA. I mean, in the East. So I feel like you took one of the best players away from one of the best teams. Now you bring Brooklyn back down to earth. Only thing they really have to worry about is Milwaukee. I think they could beat Miami, and I think they can beat what's the other team? And I think they could beat Chicago in a 7-game series if Harden and what's the name is healthy. So I think the only way they lose this trade is if Harden walks this summer.
And so you're all, again, like I mentioned, only thinking about the right here, right now, because if this doesn't work out, they have no assets. If James Harden walks, they have no assets. They trade away their draft picks. They have nothing on the roster except Embiid.
But what's the key word in your away? But what's the key word in your sentence, John? If was a fifth, we all be drunk.
Like this is the Rams, basically, like trade where you have to win a championship. There's no in between.
You're just seeing it work for them. You seen it work for the Lakers when they traded.
Hold on.
Like you have to win a championship.
Fine, John. That's fine. So that's fine. But you're finally admitting what I've been saying this whole time, John. You are making my point right here by saying that. I know what this is. Can I ask
John a question once you finish? Eric, I just want to know.
Yeah. But, John, you're making my point. This is Philly's all-in move. I'll say that. I've been saying that.
But
it is win or bust.
So, John, let me ask you.
Season.
So, John, so what would you have rather seen them trade? Now, keep in mind, we got to keep it realistic. What would you have rather seen them trade instead of making this trade?
Any one of those deals where they were
give me one of those deals.
I don't know. I mean, I know that they were getting drafted.
Jeremy Grant. They had a couple of ones with the Sacramento players. They had a couple of deals that they turned down for that, and I
turned a lot of deals.
I just need somebody to give me. I need John to give me one of those deals that they turned down that he thinks so much better than the Harden deal.
I just think trading for draft picks in your future when you have very little assets.
What's the future when you have
problems? Why can't they be like the Rams and go all in? If
because
they don't, they're wasting Embiid's career. If they're wasting that man's career if they don't go all in.
When you look at the Rams roster, they were this close. They were a quarterback away. Like they were clearly like quarterback away from being able to get there. The Sixers roster isn't that. It's not like Embiid and 2 other stars, and it's like this team is just one guy away. Like it's not even close to that.
No, John, give me
and everything else falls off.
Right. John, give me a young team that's won the championship, though.
We just saw the
Who?
Bucks win it.
They're not that young.
They won a young team, John.
They're only 3 games behind number 1. So how are they that
You
bad?
had PJ.
They're that without
Suns
Simmons.
just got there, like the Suns, got there through the draft process and things like that. Like
The Suns
they
had
have
to
a lot
bring in Chris Paul
They
to
got
get
Chris
there.
Paul.
But they have a lot of good young players, and they're set up for the future. They have a
Okay,
team
we're
now
not John.
and
Okay,
the future.
let's get the future
You're
out
not
your
set up for the
vocabulary.
future. Chris Paul
'Cause I
tears
think
his
that's
Achilles
what I
tomorrow.
think
It's
that's what
over.
you're
Hey,
saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like, I can't say
think,
the
John, you're too focused on.
But
the
if you're going to
future.
go all
you're
in,
focused on setting teams up for legacy, dynasty. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the here and now, John. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Tomorrow is not promised, my brother. You know that
Right.
as well as anybody on this show. So what I'm saying to you is, if the Rams could do that, okay, and since this is the analogy that we're going with,
Yeah.
if the Rams can formulate their team throughout the season to make them better and put all their chips in and come away with a ring, come away with the one thing that people aspire to have each and every year. Only one team can get it. So
Yep.
why not Philly?
Hey, and
So
John,
if Philly had to make the moves, and granted, I understand where you coming from. Please believe me, I do. But what I'm saying to you is, if this is Philly's all-in move, which I know that to be the case, I know what this
Yeah,
is.
clearly.
I'm not blinded by the fact that we got James Harden.
but what I'm saying is,
But hold on. I
Go
know
ahead.
what this is. And that's
Yeah.
why I say to you, this is Philly's all-in move. Because we didn't get James Harden at the beginning of the season. Everyone's like, well, why'd you get at the beginning of the season? You said that. Because we know James Harden's health conditions. Okay? Megan just said he may not be 100%. I tell you what, I take a 75% James Harden right now to get me through the rest of this season and to make a run in the playoffs.
Hey, people criticize Toronto when they made that move, and you see what it got them. They lucked up. Well, I ain't gonna say lucked up.
They went and got
They
Kawhi.
got a
What
championship.
happened? Get a
But,
championship.
John, you use 2 words that get GMs fired: potential and future.
Yep.
It's a lot of GMs that ain't got no job right now because they waiting on future and they waiting on potential.
Trust the process,
And that
John.
championship, if you go all in, you get that championship, you got the draw to bring people back the next season. Now, do I
Thank
agree,
you.
John, that those 2 picks were overkill? Absolutely. They could have done it with the players, and that's it.
But what was the 2
And
picks though?
they lost 2 first-round picks.
No, but what were they?
2 first-rounders next year.
Wasn't one of them like 2027? Come on.
No.
No, they're back-to-back. They're the next 2.
They're back to back.
They're back-to-back. They're the next 2 ones. And
That's
so
what
I
I'm
understand
saying,
your
like, if you
concern for
don't-
future. It is overkill. But at that point, you literally have a player. You have your number 2 option that refuses to play. He doesn't show up. He will lose $19 million and keep going because he's not going to play for you guys. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and
So no
plus,
matter what you did in this trade, you automatically won because you got somebody who's 75% that's going to show up at least. He's not coming to practice. I said this before. He's not coming to practice. Doesn't like to practice. He's not doing it. He's going to help you on your offense. That's it. That's all. But it's still an improvement over what you had because you had somebody
I'm
that's
going to
not
be sitting here
coming to the building.
after the playoffs when the Sixers are out. I'm going to be sitting here in the offseason if James Harden walks, and I'll be ready. Don't you worry. I won't forget
Now
this.
that's a problem
conversation.
that they
I'll be
missed
ready.
the deadline on his player option. Y'all dropped the ball on that, Eric.
Okay,
Y'all
we did.
dropped the ball.
Yes.
Brooklyn,
I'll take-
hey,
I
let me
will
say
take
one
that
last
one
thing.
on the
Brooklyn
chin.
wasn't
Yes.
going to trade him in the preseason or offseason. So if you're talking about trade deadline deals that the Sixers turned
So-
away from, okay, but they weren't
Oh,
going to
it's
trade
smart
them.
in Brooklyn.
So I'm
They got
looking
a
at
lot
it. So
for
hold
it.
on one second. I'm looking at the picks right now, right? It was exactly what I thought. The first one is an unprotected 2022 pick, first round pick. Whoop-de-doo. If they're the best, if they're one of the best teams in the East, it'll be a high 20s pick. The next pick is a protected 2027 pick.
Oh, okay.
Why are we
Alright.
worried about something that's happened 6 years? What? How many
5
years?
years.
From now? I'm sorry. 5 years from now, right?
Yeah.
And it's
So-
protected, so we don't know. We don't know. Even if they're bad, we seen how long the Lakers kept their protected picks. I mean, that's how they ended up getting all those guys to get AD because they had protected picks and they got them. So I could care less about picks. Picks to me aren't that important, especially when you're a destination like LA, New York. And when you're destination places, Philly's not a bad place to be. I don't think people mind being there.
But it's not
So
really
You're
destination.
only 3 games behind number 1. You're only 3 games behind number 1. It really doesn't matter what your seeding is at this point in time. You're only 3 games behind. The seeding
Right.
changes every single night.
Yeah.
So you're only 3 games behind without Harden, without Simmons. Now, do you take a hit with Curry? Yes, but it's not too much because we know that James Harden is your starter. Seth Curry was coming off the bench. They won the trade, regardless of how you put it.
We need to get out of Philly because as much as I love y'all, and I do, and thank you so much for this because it has done my heart good. Let's try to focus on the rest of the trades that have happened. So, you know, I'm just trying off top of the dome here, really trying to think. Who do you think was the most impactful? And I'll give everybody a few seconds to think about that, but. You know, because a lot of teams didn't make moves. A lot of teams kind of stayed where they were at. They kept what they had in place. I know that Ray Lynn was talking about the whole Indiana and Sacramento. If I remember correctly, he was talking about that trade being one that benefited. You know, it just stands to reason that, you know, unlike the WNBA, the landscape may have changed, but it's not really that different. The landscape of the WNBA, boy, that's a whole nother story. We're gonna need a whole nother show. Okay, Ray Lynn chiming in here. He said Serge Ibaka to Milwaukee.
That's you. I was
is Serge Ibaka healthy though? Because last year he was dealing with back problems. If you notice, he didn't play in the playoffs for the Clippers.
Okay.
He was out part of the season. He is currently healthy, but he has been injured some of the season as well. You're right.
Yeah, and I think I'm with Ray on that. I was thinking of that one too, Eric, because and to Tyree's point, Megan's about health. If you look at it, they just need him for the playoffs. Talking about rim protectors, he doesn't need to score no points. He just needs to be. He needs when they nicknamed him a blocker because all he was doing was blocking shots. That's all he needs to do. Is keep other big men. You know, obviously tied up, but I mean that they can very much load management. I mean, get him into game shape. And I know he's been healthy and playing anyway, like Megan said, but I think that's a sneaky good one.
It is a good one, but I don't feel like it's better than them having Boogie Cousins. I felt like Boogie Cousins was a good fit for them. And he did exactly what they needed him to do. He gave Giannis a break. He was able to get Giannis away from the 3-point line at sometimes. I don't think that Serge is a bad pickup for Milwaukee, but I felt like, I don't know. I think Boogie's been healthier in the last 2 seasons. He hasn't played that much.
Megan, I know you're you're a Texas girl, but you're not a Dallas Mavericks
comment on that
fan
on that trade. But
go ahead, Draylin. I mean,
only thing I was going to say was it didn't really surprise me. I know he said it's the worst trade. He didn't understand it. From what I was told, KP wasn't happy in Dallas. I don't know why he wasn't happy. I don't know if it had anything to do with Luke.
He thought he was good.
I was just told he wasn't.
I was just told.
Well, he's going to be second fiddle to Bradley Beal, but
I'm just telling you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just kept hearing that he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. If Spencer Dinwiddie could get back to what he was, he'll be probably the best second option that Lucas played with since Dirk Nowitzki.
No, he's not better than Tim Hardaway Jr. Sorry, I don't believe it.
Spencer Dinwiddie, when healthy?
Nope. He's not going to be back to that. He's not coming back to it.
When has Tim Hardaway ever played at the All-Star level? Because I've seen Spencer Dinwiddie play at it.
Tim Hardaway has put up some big numbers. Hold on. I will find him.
But when has he played at the All-Star level?
We're not talking about that's for sure. He's not his dad.
Right, but I mean, he's never.
Y'all tripping? That's his.
No, I'm not saying he's better than. I'm not saying he's better than KP. I'm not saying he's better than KP. Raylan, clear out the cobwebs here.
Whatever they want. It's going to be Philly and Phoenix in the final, so let them yap away, my friend.
KP ain't been healthy since he's been there.
Philly and Phoenix in the finals. I like that, Mike. I guess I'm coming to Arizona.
Go ahead, John. Shoot down Phoenix. Go ahead. I see your look. Go ahead. Shoot him down.
I told you they're not getting back to the finals.
Barkley, because Barkley and Shaq and Kenny Smith, who know nothing about basketball, nothing, constantly say on a nightly basis that Chris Paul is probably the best leader ever as point guard. Not the best point guard, but the best leader. And the way he leads his team, I'm just saying Philly and Phoenix, Eric. Harden gets to come back to the Valley. I get to come have cheesesteaks with you. or we get to go up to Philly and have cheesesteaks. I mean, why not?
We'll make it happen.
Man, people talk about AD being hurt. KP, the most games he played in Dallas was 57 in one season.
Yep.
Other than that, 43. Come on, man. Like,
Yeah,
When's
he's
the
never-
last time Spencer-
was never
when's the last
there.
time Spencer Dinwiddie was averaging 15 points a game? Because that's what Hardaway Jr. got. Dinwiddie's got 12 and a half.
Yeah,
I mean,
this year.
I think he played. I think he played
I understand,
Well,
Dom. I
four
know you
games,
love him. I know you love him.
straight games with Luka. Sorry, it's like every time him and Luka started to get maybe some kind of like chemistry, Kristaps was down, dude. I'd get rid of him too. And Tyler, by the way, I see Tyler says go Bulls. Hey,
Thanks,
Tyler, I
Ray.
never got your message after the Suns
Appreciate
beat the
that
Bulls.
comment.
Sorry, Eric, how to do
Yeah,
that.
I'm just saying
No,
when he
that's
was
fine.
when Brooklyn, right before Brooklyn made it, got all these guys, Kevin Durant and all them. When Spencer Dinwiddie was there, before he got hurt, he was averaging 20. He was playing at an all-star level.
I get that, but
in the
but
East, but that's what I'm
okay,
saying,
I
like-
get that.
I've never seen Tim Hardaway play like that.
I just want to sit in on the segment where Raylan talks about how overrated CP3 is. I would like to sit there, just not talk. I just want to listen to that whole thing because I'll agree with everything
Yeah,
he says.
I know, 'cause the guy-
I mean, it's true.
Yeah, a guy that dishes the ball and gets teammates open. And yeah, he had injuries in the playoffs. I
Y'all chose
admitted that
violence
last year.
today.
But he also played through the injury last year. Oh, but then when LeBron's team have injuries, we make excuses because it's LeBron. I'm not picking on you, Ty. I'm just saying everybody wants to say, when. Oh, he didn't play. Oh, Anthony Davis got hurt. That's why the Suns won. Oh, and then they sweep the Joker, who, sorry, played better than anybody on the Lakers last year for the most part. And then they go in and beat the Clippers, and they lose. Fine, they lose to Giannis and the Bucks. CP3 played through a shoulder injury. The guy has the most assists in the fourth quarter, but yes, I know assists are overrated. And I know Raylan always likes to say we like to point out things. I got in a debate with a guy years ago, and when Russell Westbrook was starting with KD and saying, man, if you wouldn't take Russell Westbrook over Chris Paul, you're crazy. And I said, a guy that can score 17 to 20 and dish 15 to 20 a night, yeah, I'll take that over. So that's fine. Keep ripping on CP3 because he's going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
No, it has nothing to do with the only place for Phoenix now, but I love you, Raylan.
Look at that smirk on his face.
I love you, Raylan.
I mean,
I
hey,
love
Mike
One thing
said-
I do want to say about the Bulls that concerns me about Miami, actually, because Miami and the Bulls got the same record, right? Before tonight, they had the same record. They were tied, right? And Chicago is down they're down 3 key players: Caruso, Williams, and Ball, and they're still tied for first. So Miami, to me, they're all the way healthy at this point in time, right? John, they're pretty much healthy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So pretty much healthy. And so, like, are they peaking right now? They need to be peaking in about 6 weeks when Chicago is getting healthy. They're maintaining this, and they're not even healthy.
Miami
So
just
Chicago's
got off a
dangerous.
5-game win streak. They'll be all right.
No, I'm not saying that they're not a good team. What I'm saying is, are they peaking? Because Chicago is hanging with y'all, and they don't have 3 players.
They'll be all right. I'm not
Eric,
worried about that.
Eric, let me ask you this. Oh, yeah, here you go, Raylan. That's fine. Go ahead, make excuses. Well, they're NBA players. They need to step up. You guys rip me for saying that they're stiffs that can be in the NBA, and Jamal Murray didn't play all year, but the Joker was MVP. And he had guys that were
No,
making
Raylan about Milwaukee's path to the championship.
Eric, who do you think won? Who do you think won the trade deadline, Eric?
Mike, I can't be unbiased in that question, my friend.
Besides
Um,
Philly.
I will say this though.
Sure.
No, my fault. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
Tom.
I was about to say, I will say this, to kind of go back on what Megan said. I mean, I know she said about Chicago and Miami. Miami's battle tested. Like they're battle tested.
I'm not knocking them. I'm a huge Jimmy Butler fan.
I know. I'm just saying
It
they're
would be
battle
a hell of a
tested.
series if they played.
When the playoff comes, I think I know what we'll get from most of the guys on Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago's a big question mark for me. Last time we seen DeMar DeRozan in the playoffs, it wasn't the best. So I mean,
how about
His
Cleveland?
game has improved greatly since then.
So let me ask that question.
Some of the other guys we haven't seen.
He went from averaging like 19 points a game to almost averaging 30 points a game this year. Like,
let me ask that question. Would
there's a
y'all be hurt if the first round matchup would be Chicago, Miami in the 4-5? Would y'all be upset about that? Because y'all are looking at that like that should be a second round
That's an Eastern
playoff.
Conference.
that-
type
No,
matchup.
but Ray Lynn pointed this out last night when he
You
sat
shouldn't
there
get
and
that
he
in the
listed
first
off
round.
all the top 6 seeds, and he was like, somebody's got to lose first round. 3 of these
Right.
teams got to lose.
Right,
You know, like
right.
those the 1 through 7 in the East is ridiculous.
What
And
about
just knowing,
Cleveland?
like, if it
I
started
ain't
right
really worried
now,
about Cleveland.
Cleveland
That's
can
this year's
upset
Knicks.
somebody.
oh,
really
you
worried about
tripping?
that.
You tripping?
Wow.
No,
That's
you
this
tripping?
year's
Cleveland
Knicks.
is serious. Cleveland is very serious.
One and done.
I
So-
can't
so
say a
Megan-
team is serious until I see him in the playoffs, man.
So Megan will show love to Cleveland, but
Okay.
she won't show
Different.
love
Y'all
to
can have
Cincinnati.
it.
Okay, we know where
Write
her
it down,
Ohio
take a note,
region lies.
take a picture, whatever
No,
you
I'm
want to
just-
do. But
She's
trust
just
me,
spoiled by all
Cleveland-
the Spurs wins. She's just spoiled by all their
I'm
championships.
just saying the NBA is the one sport where the playoffs is sometimes so much different than the regular season.
Listen,
Yep.
you'll get no
I
argument.
get that.
from
We,
me.
we got to see what they're going to do in the
Because
postseason. I
a
get
great
that,
coach
but-
is going to take away what you do good, and they're going to make you beat them with the other stuff.
Oh, I'm sure Ray Lynn could tell me how Monty Williams is an overrated coach too. I can't wait to hear that from him. Working with Chris,
Oh,
Monty Williams is overrated too. That's cool.
I'm gonna get Raylan to just have his own segment, just cussing out Mike because
Cussing me out. What am I saying that's wrong?
I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna be like, John, I'm seriously, you know what? We need to create a segment. New segment coming up means get your popcorn ready. That's what we need to create a segment where Raylan just goes off on something or Mike.
He said you're grumpy tonight.
Man,
By the way,
when is
Tyree,
Ray
the
Lynn-
only time Spencer Dinwiddie averaged 20 points was 2019.
I told
Any
you when
other
it
time
was.
he's been under 16 points. That's the only time. Tim Hardaway Jr. is absolutely just as good.
Okay, so
They
As-
games ain't even the same, Megan.
as currently constructed right
Right
now,
hand.
if the playoffs were to start today, here are the matchups. It would be Miami versus Brooklyn, Chicago versus Toronto, Milwaukee versus Boston, Cleveland versus Philly.
That
Really
Milwaukee Boston match.
Toronto is interesting.
It's
Toronto's
over.
really interesting.
It's over for Cleveland. It's over for Toronto. It's over for Boston.
I don't know
But
about
that
Boston.
Brooklyn
I'm not
Miami
sure
is
about
what
Boston.
you're
Cleveland-
that 8-1 matchup. That's an 8-1
Chicago and-
matchup.
Chicago and Brooklyn is the 8. Oh yeah, that's right. Chicago and Brooklyn. That's the 8-1 matchup.
No, Miami is the number
No,
one seed.
Chicago's
still.
in first.
Chicago
Miami.
won tonight.
Oh,
Chicago's
my
first
thing
one
hasn't
there.
updated. Sorry.
Boy, if you got
Yeah,
a 100%
refreshed
KD,
it.
that's tough.
Before I refreshed it, it was the
Okay,
same.
so fine. So then it would be the Bulls in Brooklyn in the first round, and then Miami and Toronto.
That's
Yep.
a better matchup for us. We don't got to face KD.
Yeah,
Right.
but you got Kyle Lowry going against to play Toronto, a team that he just left to come down to Miami. So
Oh, he'll be motivated.
all right.
And Toronto improved massively with last year's trade.
Chicago
The
played
Norman
Brooklyn in the
Powell.
first round.
Because
Bye-bye,
Trent
Chicago.
Jr. is a very nice fit for Toronto.
You heard me?
Chicago.
The Chicago play Brooklyn in the first round. We're gonna see Golden State versus Phoenix all over again. We're gonna see Denver versus whoever they smacked up in the first round that year.
Now switching
see-
over to the Western Conference, it would be Phoenix versus the Clippers. By Clippers.
By Clippers.
Golden State versus Minnesota. By
By
Minnesota. Memphis, Denver.
Is Jamal Murray back? That's what I want to know.
I don't
worry
know.
about
Yeah,
it.
no,
Denver
okay,
from
okay. So
Memphis.
what I've heard from them is that we should see him after All-Star break. I don't think it'll be immediately after All-Star break, but I'm thinking like spring break, middle of March.
Okay, and then the 4-5 is Utah, Dallas.
Bye, Utah.
Utah
Oh.
doesn't do anything in the playoffs. Utah doesn't do anything in the playoffs.
Wow.
And
Luka
Rudy
gonna beat him
Gobert
by
and
himself.
Donovan Mitchell are not getting along right now. I'm telling you, they're
They
not
never
getting
get
along
along.
right now. This is the
Yeah.
final. Yeah, this is the final year we see Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert together.
You got to get Gobert's ass out of there.
Hey,
I mean,
Dom
you can't waste
disrespectful,
Mitchell's career.
Okay, but just like you're saying that, you got to keep that same energy about the Sixers
Dom
and Embiid.
disrespectful, man.
I don't want to take it back there, but I'm just saying.
I like Utah's talent more than I like Philly's talent. I just don't like anything
Well,
outside of
in the
Embiid.
Western-
I just don't like
Talking
anything
about
outside
a
of him.
future
What's got
MVP.
going on? I'm
You're
serious.
talking about a future MVP right now.
Wow, John.
Dude just don't like Harden for whatever reason, man. Like
I said
John,
Embiid. I didn't
John,
mention
I
Harden
never
recently.
thought I would use this line on the sports arena. But John Shear, you are out of order.
It's all
Somebody
come full
needs to be
circle
drug
now.
tested. Needs to
It's
be
all
drug
come full circle.
And I'm saying right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are not responsible for John's thoughts or words. We do not condone these words or thoughts from John Sherry.
John tripping tonight, man.
I never thought I would use that on the sports arena, but damn it, John, you did it. You truly have
Just
come
never
full circle.
safe from what.
All I got to say is I got anybody in the West versus Utah except for Houston.
Hey,
Anybody?
Spurs in there.
Give me Sacramento over Utah right now, man.
And Tyler, I know you're watching. I'm cranky because again, I did not get my message after the Suns beat the Bulls. I want to hear more excuses.
Give me Lakers over Utah.
No, when they beat the Bulls, because Tyler's all about his Bulls, and I know he's mad because I know I said in the beginning of the season, Eric, that I like your signings, but there's no way because I didn't think Kyrie would sit out. I didn't think this trade would happen. But even with what Philly had, I figured Simmons would play at some point. I said, yeah, the Bulls might get in the play-in, but they're not going to the playoffs. I'm eating crow on that. I apologize, but I didn't get any congratulations after the Suns went and smacked the Bulls. I didn't see it, so that's all I know.
didn't get any congratulations when we went to your house and beat you by 20 plus.
People
But
that
told
like
you
James
don't
Harden
left out
are
the
the
B
same
in
people that
Harden's
don't
name.
like
He
I
does
told
that
you won.
intentionally.
That's
Why
not
would
true, John. That's not true. I said you beat us.
my flowers.
Why we make it seem like 5-10 teams win the title every year, though? Only one team wins the title.
Right. Absolutely.
You're right.
Detroit,
And the team that won the title last year lost to Portland.
and look,
on
Dom, y'all ain't won a title
What
since
is going on with them?
Dom, y'all ain't
Since
won a title
Billups.
since 05 or 03, whichever year it was.
04.
Hey,
04 when we
Tyler,
swept your
hold
Lakers.
on, Tyler.
We swept your Lakers.
I have to stop. Time out, Tyler. I have to say you are wrong, sir, because Mike did in fact congratulate the Chicago Sky
On
He
this show.
congratulated me on this show, and I will pull the tape if need be. So you are wrong, sir, on that.
I never got a congratulations when the 49ers beat the. Oh, yeah, I did. Never mind.
Yeah,
That was week 2, and I was mad because
He's
we
just-
lost that game.
He's
You
just
didn't beat
upset
us,
'cause he's
Tyree.
preparing for
We
Jordan
lost.
Love.
Okay.
He's just preparing for Jordan Love. That's all. He's just
It is what
upset.
it is.
He has to prepare for that.
That's what I don't understand. I mean, listen.
Hey, all I know is the Suns come to Miami after the All-Star break, John. So I just expect the same. And I said to you, you whooped us by 20. You made all those threes. Good for you. It was the Suns' one bad game at home. Still, only 10 losses. Talk to me when my team has more losses. But I know for Ray Lynn, that's some kind of excuse because if you don't win any preseason or regular season games, you can't get to the
All that
playoffs.
matters for that is if we actually play in the finals.
Philly
Other than
Phoenix,
that, it
Eric.
really wouldn't
Philly
matter.
Phoenix, baby. Cheesesteaks and quesadillas, baby.
What about the Grizzlies? Do you think the Grizzlies can catch Golden State? They're only like a game and a half behind.
Catch them and do what?
I'm just saying the second seed.
But see, my issue is this, man. Like,
But see, that doesn't matter. Tyree, real quick, that doesn't matter
A lot
because
of
inevitably
pettiness tonight.
they're going to play in the second round anyway. So
nah,
Golden State doesn't
what
care.
but what I'm saying is, I don't see. I like Memphis, but I don't see them beating nobody in the second round. They might get out the first round.
But who would they play in the second round? If you had to look at the standings and figure out,
Well,
who
no,
It
they
don't
would
matter to
end
me
up
as long as they don't play Utah. They losing.
No, but John.
All right, so hold on. So let's think about this for a
You
second.
think
What
they
we're
listen
talking
to
about,
anybody
Memphis.
but Utah?
Memphis would
In
play
the second
Golden
round.
State second
All
All
round.
right, so
State.
Memphis would play Denver in the first round at the number 3 seed. So let's say, for argument's sake, that the top 4 teams, Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis, and Utah, all win their first round. Memphis would then play Golden State in the second round because
They're
Utah would
not.
go play Phoenix.
Unless Steph Curry sprained his ankle, they're not beating them.
That'd be a dogfight.
How long has it been since we've seen Draymond Green?
See, this is the thing, though. What kind
How
of
long,
injury?
but
What
okay,
injury
how
does he
important
have?
how important is defense, and how long has it been since we've seen Draymond Green?
What injury does he have?
Oh, he'll be back.
Keep him out for 2 months. I don't know exactly.
It could be
what
rest.
he
They
does.
could be resting him. It's the
for
NBA.
2 months?
No.
It could be load management, you know. Hey, we got about 5 minutes left, y'all. So,
That's
you know,
not Kawhi Leonard we're talking about.
here she goes. Y'all started this.
Yeah, way to go.
Y'all started this.
Way to go. Now Megan's gonna have you tell the Lakers and the Heat to jump off a building.
Hey, look, we're 1-1 against you guys in the finals.
As long as they
so,
like
you know.
Prince, I'm all right with it.
Hey, I'm just saying,
The
man.
Megan Price fan club, ladies and gentlemen, it consists of Andy Dalton. It consists of Derek Fisher, Kawhi Leonard. I don't.
Mike
Megan,
D'Antoni.
Oh yeah, yes, Mike
Mike
D'Antoni,
Yeah,
Mike McCarthy.
Mike, oh, you won't.
Oh yeah, Mike McCarthy. Put him
Oh,
on there
Kellen
too.
Moore.
D'Antoni really bothers me.
Why is Kellen Moore not on your list? He's worthless.
Miami.
Hold on.
He's
See,
not
man,
even a
this-
head coach.
see,
That's
this-
why. 'Cause
this-
it's not
see,
even
this
a
why
head
Dallas-
Oh yes, and PJ Tucker. Yes, I forgot about
Hey,
that.
PJ Tucker. There
Yeah.
you go.
I
Eric,
never forget the first night I mentioned PJ Tucker. I thought I was gonna get staked in my chair because I said his name, and she's like, "What did you say? What did you say?" I was like, "Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't say anything to you." But I said,
see,
PJ Tucker.
Eric, this is why we don't
Do
like
you know
Dallas.
how
This is why we
many
don't
how
like
many
Dallas
games he
fans,
put
man.
up with zeros last season?
Y'all forgot to mention
Now
the
Mike
MLB
McCarthy's
in
bad
general.
because I was praising him all season.
Y'all forgot to
I
mention
wasn't
the
praising
MLB
him.
in general because
Wrong.
Megan's
I
mad
have been
at the
criticizing
MLB.
Mike McCarthy for 2 seasons. Wrong. We should have
I'm
hired
sorry,
Lincoln Riley.
John. Say that real quick.
You gotta add the MLB on that list because she hates the MLB right now just as much
Oh,
as she
yes.
does
Oh,
the adult.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
How did we sign Corey Seager and Marcus Simeon in the offseason? And now here the MLB goes mucking up my season. I'm wearing baseball tonight right now because of it. I'm so pissed.
I didn't even know you owned a baseball shirt.
Oh
you
yes,
serious?
no.
This is from the last night
She's
game
worn
of
Rangers stuff all the time.
I never even noticed. I always thought you were just WNBA and
No. Megan is Dallas
Cowboys.
Wings, San Antonio Spurs, unfortunately the Cowboys, the Texas Rangers, and the Texas Longhorns.
We gotta get you out of Texas.
Okay,
No, never.
so I was
I mean,
right.
you can take me out of Texas, but Texas is not coming out of me. No.
Unfortunately, Mike is just don't even do it. I saw you grab for it. Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right, I was checking. I was like, if you grab that hat, I swear.
No, because I'm in a good mood tonight. Philly, I want good vibes for our Philly Phoenix.
Yes.
So I have to hear
Philly Phoenix NBA Finals. I love it.
Ray Lynch
I'm
coming with all his lame excuses, but I'm good.
I'm good with that.
Oh, and my mom just messaged right now, and she said that Texas Tech is up on Baylor by 10 with 6.5 left.
Women's or men's?
Men's.
Man,
Oh, okay.
So
All
the
right.
Rangers are the 80s, 90s Utah Jazz of the MLB.
No, that is correct. We have not won a thing. Thank you very much, Tyree. Thank you.
No, I'm
And
just saying
that's
that's
why
what
I say
Dom said that.
That's
I don't
Dom
know.
DeRuby is
Oh.
chiming
isn't
in.
Dom,
That is
isn't Dom a Lions fan? Dom's a
Dom is
Lions
a, yes.
Yes.
You can
Look, when
thank
they
Josh
say-
Hamilton.
when they
You can
say-
thank Josh Hamilton for that.
You still-
When they say baseball is America's sport, it ain't the America that I live in, but
It used to be America's pastime until football took it over.
All right, y'all. We're going to go
Yes,
ahead and
I
get
ain't
up
watching
on
no
out of here,
baseball.
man. I appreciate everybody for tonight. As always, a great show for Mike Carrottenuto, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, Tyree, say it again, John Shear, Fox Sports, 1340 AM, and the executive producer of the Sideline Sports Network family. This man does so much. He doesn't sleep. And as always, our queen of hoops was Megan Price. Dallas Wings on lock this season. I'm telling you, I'm a little nervous, but as always, you know, the two behind me got something to say about that. We'll talk about the WNBA at a later time. My man, Eric Wilson. Shout out to my man, Ray Lynn. We will see y'all on Monday with our special guest from the Sip-Off, from the NBA Carousel. Mr. Will Vogel will be joining us. Everyone have a great night. See ya.